and moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. Good morning to all our viewers on our varying platforms, Facebook 102 and 1021 Amplia and YouTube. I'm very excited. As you can tell, I just messed up my opening just to see you all this morning. I just want to tell you all good morning and I hope that all is well with all of you. Before we continue, of course, we'll just have our news in 90 seconds. The Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce expressed concerns that the 2024-2025 budget did not address debts owed by the Tobago House of Assembly to contractors involved in the February 7 oil spill cleanup. Chamber President Curtis Williams noted that while there are positive elements in the $59 billion budget, such as resolving VAT payments, a tax amnesty for businesses, and a focus on tourism infrastructure, the failure to address THU's debts left a bitter taste for many. He stressed the need for the central government to ensure that THU receives funds to pay its overdue bills, allowing businesses to thrive and support Tobago's development. Head of the Tobago Business Chamber, Martin George, emphasized the need to focus on improving the ease of doing business in Trinidad and Tobago rather than engaging in tedious disaggregation of budget numbers. He highlighted Trinidad and Tobago's poor ranking of 105th globally in ease of doing business and pointed out inefficiencies and red tape in various government departments, such as the Registrar General's Office and Customs. George urged for changes to simplify processes and reduce bureaucracy, criticizing the challenges faced by businesses such as long lines for paying for property tax. He stressed that Trinidad and Tobago needs to facilitate easier business operations to improve its regional and global standing. And in some news of sports, the Barbados Royals defeated Trinbago Knight Riders in the eliminator match at the Guyana National Stadium on October 1st after a 2-hour delay due to faulty lights led to a revised run chase. TKR were 168 for 3 after 19.1 overs when the delay occurred, with Nicholas Puran scoring an impressive 91 not out. After the delay, Royals were set a target of 60 runs in 5 overs. Despite losing Quinton de Kock early, David Miller's quick 50 not out of past principle. So I wish you God's blessings. She is a woman of God. She always expresses this, and I really do hope that you enjoy your day today. Next up, we have Miss Shanice Kirk. Happy birthday to you, and I hope that you enjoy the entirety of it. Some of us may have our day-to-day jobs, but today is your special day, so I hope that you make the best of it. Happy birthday to Chiva Alexander. Happy birthday to you. God's blessings from the Tobago Updates family, especially here at Youth Wednesdays. Happy birthday to Miss Aisha McKnight. We have some very special birthdays here this morning. Miss Aisha McKnight, happy birthday to you, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Damian Mighty Crush Stewart, happy birthday to you. I'm seeing that you do some DJing work there, so I hope that your day is filled with that musical element. I hope that you enjoy the rest of it. And last but not least, and no stranger to our screens, Miss Elizabeth Williams, happy birthday to you and God's blessings on your day. And that's all our birthdays for this morning. Even though I did not mention your name and today is your special day, I really do hope that you enjoyed. It's the month of October, and I know a lot of October borns are very proud of the month of October. So I really do hope that you enjoy your birthday and the entire month in its entirety. All right, we have a lot going on in this space, but we know that the major topic of discussion is the budget. So of course, we here at Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays will be giving you that budget discussion from a youthful perspective, let's see what the youths have to say on the budget presentation. A lot of people have a lot of opinions, especially about that budget. You know, one side of the pond is saying that it's not enough for Tobago, and the other side of the pond is saying that the economy is doing better since COVID-19. So we'll just like to hear those opinions. So I'll just give you a very simple rundown for this morning. As I said, we'll be focusing on our budget talks. We have Mr. AJ Allen, Miss Alia Sheong, Mr. Alex Job Thomas, and Mr. Keegan Dunoon. They'll be here to speak to us about the budget 2025 from a youthful perspective. And of course, that interview will be hosted by myself and Mr. Dwayne Nurse in our time to come. All right, so before I leave you, I just want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
Don't tell me about work I out on the road today. Don't tell me about work I out on the road today. Don't tell me about work I out on the road today.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens just come down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road is a miracle. A million strong come together.
Attention soldiers, are you ready for the ultimate mission for Tobago Carnival? It's time to gear up for Army Vet Operation Rocks Glow.
I feel like I'm running tongue again. No place like home. Go down in the center, go down in the center, go.
We're taking the vibes out to the countryside, where a premier cast of live entertainment will be pumping all night long. Army Vet Operation Rocks Glow. Join us on Thursday, 24th October at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex, Roxborough, for the high-energy Wear White Soca Bashment Rocks Glow. Army Vet Tobago. Operation Rocks Glow.
Swap down, track 7, Tobago, have a plan.
Let me go now. Yes.
Yes.
Let me go.
If you want life in the islands, come through Tobago. Come through Tobago. Escape Tobago. If you want vibes in the islands, come through Tobago. Come through Tobago. Escape Tobago. Wanted this all of my life. One place with all of my life. Everything that I need is all on the island. You can come in, stay more than a while. So go catch your friends, bring something, and pack up your bag, let's go. If you're looking elsewhere, na 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 na. If you're going elsewhere, na na na.
Go in, you have to stop it, you have to stop it.
Welcome to my kitchen, guys.
You have to stop it again.
That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning,
on Tobago Updates here on Youth Wednesdays. As promised, we'll be giving you that budget from the youthful perspective, but of course I have to introduce my panelists here this morning. I just want to welcome, one of your favorite youth hosts, according to him.
Oh yes, good morning guys, good
Mr.
morning.
Dwayne Nurse.
I don't know which, so many cameras pointed at me at the same time that I feel very special. But good morning and welcome to Youth Wednesdays. Yes, we're going to take the discussion up a notch and across the island of Tobago, where we discuss matters pertinent to the budget relative to Tobago. Yes. This morning we do have a 4-panel discussion. However, they are not here as yet, and we're going to bring them in bit by bit. But this morning we have Mr. Alex Job Thomas, who will be one of the 4 joining us this morning. We're just for those of you who is in anticipation, we have also Mr. Keegan Denoon, Miss Aliyah Chiong, and Ajay Alling joining us shortly this morning for the budget discussion, not a debate as yet. I'm hoping that Tobago Updates consider it. But yes, we're going to take the discussion But good morning to you, Mr. Thomas, and welcome to Youth Wednesdays. How are you doing?
Well, firstly, good morning to Youth Wednesdays.
Yes,
My
good
pleasure
morning,
to
good
be
morning.
here.
Yes.
And I am doing great this morning.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right, and I think looking at the excitement that we had before we came on here, Alex is very excited to tell you his perspective on the budget. Dwayne is of course raring to go. You know, Dwayne is always ready with these type of things, right? And I will simply be that mediator between
Of course
you two
not.
so that things get too
Of course not. We are both going to
crazy.
delve into the matters equally.
Okay,
Yes.
so before we start, I just want to give you all some highlights from the budget based on Tobago and of course the overall expenditure, the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the country. So the budget's theme, presented by Finance Minister Mr. Colm Imbert, steadfast and resolute, forging pathways to prosperity, estimates of revenue and expenditure. Total budget revenue is 54.224 billion. Total budget expenditure 59.741 billion, and the fiscal deficit is at 5.517 billion. For Tobago, the total allocation is 2.599 billion, recurrent expenditure 2.376 billion, development program $205 million, URP 18 million, and the CPEP 9.2 million. Right, so we go straight into it. So Dwayne, what are your overall thoughts on the budget itself?
However, I'm not a part of the panel, but I would say it's quite an interesting turn of events, I should say. It's another year that we are seeing an average allocation of Tobago being 4.35% of the national allocation, right? It is important to note that between 2020 and 2025 fiscal allocations, last year and this year saw an increase. The last year's allocation nationally was $59.209 billion, and this year's national allocation is $5.9741 billion. It is important to note this in our discussion. But Mr. Alex, what are your thoughts on the budget relative to Tobago? And the better disclaimer, we are going to be focusing primarily on the allocation for Tobago, budgetary wise. Your thoughts?
Okay, so my immediate thoughts, and I will use some words from the finance minister when he was in opposition. It is frivolous and vexatious, right? Every year it is 4.3%, and I know persons use the argument and say, okay, we gain more money, but it's the same percentage, right? And we get the same amount of money. Imagine 200 and something million just for a whole island development. I am like, that really isn't sufficient. Yeah, what is it supposed to do? And then they expect us to do the world, and when the world happens, they are surprised, right? So I believe it to be a budget of just frustrated the Tobago people.
Okay.
All right. So you mentioned that the Tobago House of Assembly, there was an increase in terms of the allocation. How do you juxtapose that against what was allocated nationally? Do you see the correlation between what was allocated to Tobago and what was allocated to Trinidad nationally?
All right. So one, I see persons in the space saying, okay, you guys are getting more money. Let me rephrase the point that the percentage is the same. One, and persons are saying, well, why this administration is so special? Tobago is special. Tobago deserves good things too.
Yes.
Right? At the end of the day, the development just cannot happen in Trinidad, isolated Trinidad alone. Tobago deserves good things too. And these persons really don't love Tobago when they are telling me this administration is in one of the teaching right now. But we are looking at Tobago on a whole. This is where we want to grow up our children and grandchildren, and we want the best for them. Right? We just don't want investment on the island to just be mediocre, or we have none at all, and every time we have to go to Trinidad. No, we want things here that is good for Tobago. Tobago deserves nice things. Yeah. And when it comes to the when you point out that juxtapose that to Trinidad, persons are wondering why the Tobago system should get more money. But the same way that they point out that the argument in Tobago got more money, but just the percentage remain the same. Trinidad got more money too. And I know they're asking, where did the money go? But can the finance minister tell me where did the money go? Because I know he and the auditor general is in a big battle right now. So let's tell me where the money went.
Right. So we saw last year's allocation was about 2.5 to $1 billion for Tobago, and just was last week Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, there was a sitting in the House where the Finance Secretary, Mrs. Roberts, would have highlighted some concerns relative to the allocation for Tobago, in hopes that the Finance Minister, chiefest of them is what is allocated versus
the physical cash,
what is
Being
appropriated.
given, yes.
Correct.
Right, and I want to use the jargon of fiscal allocation.
Yes.
Right. What are your thoughts on her comments? Do you see any merit in what was said? Because she said that between the last 7 years, the THA is owed $166.305 million, and she was predicating her request to the minister on that basis, among other matters. Care to share your thoughts on what was leading the parliament in the House?
And that I could point out that activity or that kind of action by the central government is injustice at the highest level, right? Because you appropriate something in the appropriation bill, which is passed by Parliament, which is go through a whole long process from the budget being laid, then the debate, then the Standing Finance Committee, even to the Senate and so forth sometimes. But this is law, but you are not abiding by the law, right? So let's be realistic that that is injustice, because why you are waiting until the 30th of September to not give us the full allocation? And as far as I am aware, according to the Finance Secretary, Mrs. Roberts, we are owed 10 million still. And I would like to know, over the years, where did the money go? That is the questions people need to be asking. Where did the money go all of a sudden when we reach the 30th of September? We need to know where the money went. Who accounted for it? Where did the money go? What was it spent on? Because it definitely wasn't spent on Tobago, which was allocated to Tobago. We need to know where the money went.
Right. So when we saw when we heard that in the House, I'm sure a lot of Tobagoans were surprised and confused that the what is being purported is that central government is allocating this amount of money. But this amount of money is coming to Tobago. In addition to that, she mentioned some other factors that affects Tobago's allocation, which is the late transfer of funds to Tobago, which subsequently incurs an overdraft. And I think she mentioned that over the last 7 years, the overdraft was between $45 and $47 million, and she was asking that the minister consider. She said in her meeting with the minister that she asked that they get it back in the allocation to Tobago, and he said that he would consider based on what she said in the House. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you see that affecting Tobago and its development and its operations? Is in light of what we are discussing here this morning.
So clearly he didn't consider it, because after saying he considered the global and the national and said that the economy will grow and so forth. In paraphrasing, he turned around and said that this is the allocation for Tobago. So clearly he didn't consider it. Right. And I think persons don't listen to the minister often enough, because sometimes we see hypocrisy at the highest level. On one hand, the minister is saying, aided by Tobagonians, the same minister, is saying that the economy will grow and he expects the same thing to happen in Tobago. But then we have the Minority Council coming and say whether the economy in Tobago is stagnant and nothing is happening. So then, on one hand, nationally, things will improve, but in Tobago, things are not improving. I'm really confused. What is happening there, right? And let's be realistic. Tobago needs to develop. 2.something million is not enough. Let's be realistic. Imagine a hotel project.
$205 million.
Don't get it, the numbers wrong.
Right? Yeah. I really, yeah. But imagine one hotel project, a renovation of one hotel is way more than our development budget. This is the budget for island I'm talking about. We don't have, in order to things to come to Tobago, we have to put it on a ship to come to Tobago, and it will take time.
Yes.
Right? So we have to survive while we are here. And why one hotel project will be way more than our development budget.
You're looking at the priorities now of the
Correct.
central government. Yes.
They clearly don't want prioritize Tobago, and they clearly don't prioritize tourism.
Correct.
Because if they say tourism is our bread and butter in Tobago and is part of the trust to diversify the economy, why not invest? Well, they know they sneakily pull back the standards and tell us that we have to take it, basically. And but by the way, I like the stance of the chief secretary because these things require consultation. Just as the Maria project is going through a set of consultation right now with the people of Tobago, that needs to happen.
Yeah,
One.
But some might argue that the government does care about Tobago's tourism by investing in these projects, right? And you're juxtaposing what was allocated for one project versus what is allocated for Tobago's development, which is $205 million. What are your thoughts on the development budget? Because last year's allocation was actually $260 million for the allocation for fiscal 2024. Fiscal 25, we are seeing a reduction in the development allocation for Tobago. What are your thoughts on that? And also comment on the fact that there's the increase, and where the increase, we are seeing the increase.
All right, so in terms of the development budget, let's be a bit realistic. You can't expect me something costs $100 and then give me $10 and expect me to achieve it.
Yes.
Right?
My thoughts exactly.
We have to cut and contrive some way. And I know that they want that to happen, they want to be going to complain. Right? And this is just the typical style of the PNM. This is not new. Certainly not new. Because when Tobago rejected the Prime Minister, Tobago then suffered. And you often hear older persons who lived through that period, they talk about the pains that they went through. Right? This is not new. Just that it's a different form, a modern day form. But they expect us to do miracles, but we are doing miracles, and that is what is getting to them, right?
Yes.
As I said, the country on a whole might have experienced, in terms of expenditure, might have experienced an increase. Obviously, if the percentage is the same, Tobago will see an increase. It's simple mathematics. If you can't calculate that, I don't know, the education system failed you, right? But we want to achieve great things. Tobago deserves. I believe Tobago deserves nice things. And I saw a comment from a young man saying the waste in the economy and where the money went. But I want to ask him, the indoor facility that's going to build, which is about the size of a school auditorium, wasn't that a waste of money? Because if it was completed, it would have been incurring electricity bill, water bill, all these kind of bills for years, and I'm sure it would end up like the track in Dwight York Stadium and Hazy Crawford with no certification. So yeah.
All right. So this discussion is getting very, very heated. You know, I saw some fire in Alex's eyes for the last one there, right? I have one question, of course, before we take that break. I just want to leave you all on a bit of a cliffhanger. Now, there is something floating around on social media. On one hand, the finance minister said the economy is stronger, more resilient than before COVID-19. But now they're telling us, for want of a better term, to ban Wibeli until 2027. Right? So I want to know what your thoughts are on that. You're speaking a lot on the contradiction of statements that he made. Right? So I want to hear your thoughts on that. Dwayne, I want to hear your contribution as well. Dwayne, we know, right? We know that you're excited to tell us, right? So we'll discuss all of this after we take that break. So stay tuned, share the live, and we'll be right back.
From place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. We are pleased to welcome for our second segment Mr. Ajay Allen. Good morning to you, Ajay.
Good morning, good morning.
We missed you very much for the first segment, but we are happy that you are able to join us. Now, let me tell you, as I was telling our viewers before we went to that break, Alex was on fire, right? He was getting a bit fiery because this budget is a serious one. We've seen on one side of the pond, they're giving Tobago this and Tobago. Some Tobagoans are actually saying there's an increase in the budget for Tobago. But on the other side of the pond, we have the Secretary for Finance saying that this is fiscal wickedness, right? So it's all of this we wanna address, right? Of course, Dwayne has those fiery questions for you as well. But I put Dwayne on the panel as well because he loves to talk about these things. Right. Right. So it will be the
woman power this morning.
Of course, being the only woman sitting here, I take the opportunity to put Dwayne on the panel and he cannot tell me no. All right. So the three of you will of course join together. We'll be discussing the budget from a youthful perspective, of course, and focusing mainly on Tobago's part of that allocation. Right. So over to you, Dwayne.
Right. So the question was about the just repeat the question just for quick context, if you don't mind.
So the minister is saying, let me just...
The economy is doing better.
After the COVID-19.
But we have to wait till 2027
to actually see the brightness of this, of what our country is doing economically.
Right. So I wouldn't argue that we need to, 2027 wouldn't bring a brighter TNT. However, what we need to look at is what was allocated, right, and to see if really and truly if the brightness and the prosperity of the economy nationally is doing so well, and you would see that in your allocations, right? Now there is the notion that why are we complaining? Because come on, Tobago, you got an increase, right? Albeit very incrementally, right? And we are seeing nationally again is $59.741 billion, right? And Tobago also saw that increase. Where did we see the increase? We saw the increase just like last year. We saw the increase in the recurrent expenditure. And I want us to let the people know, we are talking about the facts here, right? The recurrent expenditure represents those expenses of the Tobago House of Assembly for Tobago, right, that we must pay, right? We can't decrease it. We can't do anything else with it other than to pay those bills. It's like your TNT and WhatsApp and internet bill, your workers, all of those bills are considered what your recurrent expenditure. What Tobagonians need to see is why there was an increase in the recurrent expenditure. If you notice, the finance minister increased minimum wage for those public servants.
And I wanna touch on that after you finish.
Yes. So I think there are also arrears for teachers and so on and back pay and so on.
Yes.
As a consequence of that increase. Well, not teachers, but last year teachers were supposed to get some money. They didn't get all. Right. Additionally, the increase for daily rated workers would also see a retroactive increase. I think it's from 2020 to 2022, 1 or 2. You're going to see that increase of, I think it's 5%.
They're offering 5%.
Right? They're offering 5% for those unions who would have accepted the initial 4%. So to facilitate that mechanism, the recurrent expenditure went up significantly. Because last year's allocation was $2.98 billion for recurrent. This year, the allocation is $2.376 billion, and I'm hoping that somebody could do the maths quickly to see the disparity. But it's a significant and notable increase, and I'm saying that we need to note that this increase is as a result of the upcoming increases to daily rated workers, effective November 1st, right? So what are your thoughts, guys, on this whole thing?
Okay, well, for me, my initial response, hearing the development budget, my mind went back to a number of projects on the island of Tobago that we know have been pending for the longest while. And I really hope Tobagonians do not forget about Turpin Bend. I really hope that we are mindful that Defense Force vehicle, a troop carrier, a couple years ago found itself in a precarious position down that precipice. And I think we need to be mindful of the required funding to fix that. We should be mindful of Bad Rock as well, because it's a catastrophe, unfortunately, waiting to happen. And we do not want to have anybody dying on Bad Rock before the national government sees Bad Rock as being important. We have a serious flooding problem on Southwest Tobago. And I mean, how are we to adequately address flooding on Southwest Tobago when we don't have the adequate funds to treat with that? I mean, we know lowlands flood very badly. In front of Cocoa Reef, it's still a temporary fix. How are we to get a permanent fix to that when we have 205 million? I mean, we need to begin to think big as Tobagonians. How are we to advance exportation on the island? I mean, BDU just had a wonderful competition with some young businesses. We saw potential, particularly as it pertains to chicken and chicken rearing. How are we to expand these businesses to be ready to supply our institutions, probably somebody like Sandals? How are we to get 500 heads of chicken every week to supply our Sandals or to supply our Marriott? So we hear all these nice, grandiose ideas about hotel and supply, but you need to give us the funding to prepare our Tobagonians to face some of these challenges. Because we don't want to have a Marriott or a Sandals and then you're now telling me that the Tobago farmer cannot supply it. And they're going to say, yeah, the TH is supposed to support that, but we still have to supply grants. We still have to supply low-cost housing for persons on the island. So there's a list of activities that goes simply beyond just paying Tobagonian salary. And my question also would mean, we have an increase in expenditure, but does that mean that all of the TH recurrent expenditures are covered?
Yes, that question actually adds to what Dwayne was asking earlier, and that is, where is the money going? If the percentage that is allocated to Tobago remains the same, where is the money going? Alex?
I could answer that the pay the debts that the previous administration left, so that we have to currently incur, you have to pay that debt. Yeah.
Yes.
The bonds that they went and do with rehabilitation, and people sending invoices allegedly that don't correspond with the actual work. Yeah. We're going to pay that. We're going to pay those kind of debts. So let people don't ask the hypocritical question of where the money going.
Mhm.
Because they know fully well where the money going. Yeah? What about the investment in Tobago in terms of tourism? I hear they talk about the airport, and I saw people run with it. The airport could accommodate 3 million per year. And I'm like, and I'm glad the Chief Secretary clarified it on Monday night,
Mhm.
that their airport far smaller than Piaku.
Yes.
And accommodating way more than Piaku. Look, St. Lucia. Let me do St. Lucia for example. St. Lucia have 2 airports, right? They have FL Charles and they have the one in Viewfort, right? If you just combine the size of the 2 airports, they still ain't reach the size of Piaco yet. But on a yearly basis, they accommodate way more than Piaco, right? Their tourism industry is booming. Jamaica, imagine, Jamaica will have basically 3 right now. There are Ian Fleming as well accommodating.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but that is just more smaller. But they have Norman Manley and they have Sangster, and the government sees it important to boost both airports. Same way we have 2 airports in this country, and the government only see it fitting to boost 1 airport. Building a terminal will not boost our tourism overnight. What is snap a finger? That don't make sense.
No, but Alex, allow me to add as well. Jamaica has a similar crime problem to Trinidad and Tobago
Very
as
true.
well. And let's look at the impact from a standpoint of tourism and tourism marketing. Jamaica still has a robust tourism system with or
Correct.
without sandals.
Yes.
I mean, we know the type of the Airbnb product that they have been promoting. We see where they regularize Airbnb as well.
Yeah.
And even as it pertains to aviation, there is a system in aviation called hub and spoke travel. So you would find where you have 3 or 4 international flights landing at the airport around the same time. And then you would have smaller regional or domestic
Aircrafts,
jets going out. So you're now spreading it. But when we have a system where you have a large number of international flights getting to Piaco, somewhere between 12 and 1 in the morning, and then the last flight to Tobago is at 8 something in the night.
Thank you.
I mean, let's be real. If you're using the hub and spoke model and Piaco is one of the mecca for regional travel, why are you telling me we can't have a flight hour and a half possibly? But then again, we also had to cater for the fact that we're not too sure if we have immigration kiosks there or if they are functional and how effective they are. Because we would often hear complaints of a large number of persons lined up waiting to clear immigration. I am not too sure if immigration officers love to interact with tourists on arrival. But Barbados has a system where you use a kiosk. So we probably could have sent back the Chinese robots and invested in some immigration kiosks. So when persons come in, we'll have that flow a little bit faster and we'll get them through the system a little more effective.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. While we're talking about tourism, and tourism is hinged on development for Tobago. And it begs the question when we see the allocation, and we're going back to the allocation for the development of Tobago, which is only $205 million, right? If we are considering the national economy, right? Why are we always seeing this constant allocation of between 4.35% of the national budget, right? I want to beg the argument that isn't it not prudent that if you give Tobago between a 7-year and a 10-year period of the upper echelon of the DRC Commission, which is between 4.03 to 6.9% of the thing. If you give that the upper echelon for about 7 to 10 years consistently, to develop Tobago's economy in such a way that we don't necessarily need, right? And among other things as well, because we had to talk about the Tobago autonomy issue as well, right? If you do that for Tobago and to kickstart Tobago's economy, right, then we may not necessarily need, right, going forward, we do have to beg the parliament, and we do have to be worried about cutting and contriving, because Tobago always cutting and contriving.
Correct.
Right? That has been the thing. And I want to again put some information here, right? We need to know that between 2020 and 2025, right, when the allocation, when the government says that we're going to spend $50 billion, they always go back in the media review and increase the budget. So 2020 was the Trinidad allocation was $50.753 billion, but the total expenditure for that year, right, was 53.036%. However, Tobago don't always see a equitable, notable increase in the media review. And it again begs the question: why are we not seeing, the equal energy, right? The equal emphasis on Tobago's development, right? Because development is where the economy will grow. We will invest here, we invest there, right? We'll fix our tourism product, right? I know that somewhere, one of the countries, I think it's Barbados, spend millions of US dollars for Tobago, for their tourism product.
Especially marketing.
Especially when marketing is concerned. Marketing is a big factor in creating your tourism product. Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's not important to increase your room stock, but there are other factors to consider as well, right? When it comes to tourism, right? And notably is the access to the island, right? Is the access to the island. Tobago is too perplexed with too many issues fiscally, right? To feel comfortable and to take and not be worried and concerned about about always receiving the lowest pie. And what kind of concerns me as well is that we are hearing purported, right, that if we take the current bill laid before the parliament, we're gonna get a 6.8%. That is all good, but currently the DRC Commission give us a range. If we are saying nationally that we care about the development of the country, we care about Tobago, we care about Tobago's development, why not give us what is currently available to us, which is the range. There's a range. Give us 5.8%. Give us 6%. If you really care about Tobago, why should we wait on an autonomy bill, right, to pass in Parliament for that to happen? It begs the question, right? And one other thing before I swing it over to you guys, right? we see the property tax. Tax is important revenue generating for our country, right? But Tobago, do you see any notable change, right, as it pertains to the national services, public transport, right? We're talking about Caribbean Airlines. Do you see those things? And we have to talk about return on investment.
Okay, all right. Dwayne. I think Dwayne was the cliffhanger this time, right? But before we continue, let's take a break and we'll be right back.
Attention soldiers, are you ready for the ultimate mission for Tobago Carnival? It's time to gear up for Army Fed Operation Rocks Glow.
I feel like I'm running tongue again. No place like home. Put 'em in the center. Put 'em in the center.
We're taking the vibes out to the countryside, where a premier cast of live entertainment will be pumping all night long. Army Fed Operation Rocks Glow. Join us on Thursday, 24th October at the Sid Grace Sporting Complex, Roxborough, for the high-energy Wear White Soca Bashment Rocks Glow. Army Fed Tobago. Operation Rocks Glow.
Swap down. Track 7. Tobago, have a plan.
Let me go now. Yes. Yes. Let me go.
If you want life in the islands, come through Tobago. Come through Tobago. Escape Tobago. If you want vibes in the islands, come through Tobago. Come through Tobago. Escape Tobago.
Wanted this all of my life. One place with all of my life. Anything that I need is all on the island. You can come in, stay more than a while. So go catch your friends, bring something, and pack up your bag, let's go. If you're looking elsewhere, na 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 na. If you're going elsewhere, na na na. Run out.
Hey, the biggest and sexy.
Now here what's going on. You see this section? It makes me feel to move. You know why? It's called Pina Colada. I like Pina Colada.
Oh. Forget just the girl them crave for. They really need it too. When you play with
oh my goodness. And as the name says, it is as creamy as it's sweet.
Never wanna leave cause the drinks them running for throw. Cause I really feel a vibe every time I start right down and up and like this. Man, it's nothing like this. Not you be like you. Forget just me say something and nobody like you. And every single time we touch, you know I never stop.
This is pina colada, something nice with a little bit of spice, and of course, not once, but we're gonna do it twice.
Tell a cruise, make Nevada. Say whoa.
We are on the road with pina colada. Boom, boom.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Youth Wednesdays here on Tobago Updates continues with our budget talks. We still have with us, because I mean the talks getting heated, but they could handle the heat, right? Mr. Ajay Allen and Mr. Alex Job Thomas, and of course the one who I put on the panel who might not want to be there, Mr. Dwayne Nurse, right? We continue on our budget talks. Now when we left them on a bit of a high note, right? And I want us to continue on that note. So Dwayne, could you reiterate the point that you were making? And
Really?
Yes.
I wouldn't reiterate, but what I would do, I would throw it over to my
colleagues,
my
Co-
other panelists.
Okay, all right. Thank you
make
for
their
acknowledging that you are a panelist.
I said my other panelists.
Yeah, I think we were just discussing the increase, particularly as it pertains to the minimum wage to some extent. And I want Tobagonians to understand something. When we hear these types of statements made, we need to consider the cost of moving goods and services in between Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I am now wondering, we have an increase in the minimum wage. Is it that we're going to decrease the cost of transporting goods in between Trinidad and Tobago? We already have a $50 change fee as it pertains to the airline and flights. Is $2 or does $2 offset this $50 change fee?
Right. So my question to you all, there was an increase in minimum wage. We saw last year for the budget where there was an increase in minimum wage, but everything else went up. Right? This year, there was an increase in minimum wage, but the only thing for the public sector, and the only thing that really went up was the oil and gas. Now, people are saying that they're grateful that nothing raised. What are your thoughts on this?
You know, let me congratulate the minister for being the master of deception.
Wow.
I mean, he's a guy that I would admire going forward in the future, and he's someone I would take copious notes on in terms of what not to do. You see, because there's a saying in Tobago, you're giving one hand and you could take in the next.
Right.
So it's not as simple as we get a raise or we get an increase. Because we're going to see it back when we go to shop. If a tin of corned beef is $12 in Trinidad and it's $20 in Tobago, does $2 offset that? I mean, for me, that increase, we could only buy 3 more mints to keep the bread fresh and the mouth clean. So, I mean, we really need to sit down and think through this from an economic standpoint. And I think this is to fool the man on the ground. This is to fool the person who may not be an avid reader, the person who may not want to take the time to do their research and just take what comes from the mouth of a minister.
Right.
So Tobagonians, do your research.
And with air on the ground, they're saying that this lack of increase, I should say, is due to something that may be upcoming. Assumingly, right? Let me put in that word, right? Assumingly, it may be.
I wouldn't say the election. Yes, we know. I wouldn't say it.
All right, they're saying that they might want to soften the blow per se, just in light of that election time coming up. What are your thoughts on that one?
Alex, you can go ahead.
Well, this is an election budget, and we saw it. We saw it. Election is next year, and they're going to try to soften the blow. They came in property tax. There's certain things that they are holding off on. Notice they're holding off on, and I bet you if they win, we are going to get this stuff, including an increase in the electricity rates. Remember, the minister said they're still under review. Notice that is the excuse he's given for now. They're still under review. They never said they rejected it.
So we're looking at what happens after the.
Correct.
Let's say that they do win. There might be this big change.
Correct.
No, but Ms. Nancy, I have a question as well.
Okay.
It has been bugging me for a very long time. So we heard that there would be property tax, but I have not read in any documentation what would be done with the property tax collected in Tobago. because we are hearing plans that it will go back to the corporations and help to pave roads and fix roads and do working
Yes, I didn't know that.
corporations, which is good. But I have not seen in any documentation to date. And probably members of the public might know where to find the information. They can probably send it to Tobago Update so they can update us as Tobagonians on what is the plan for property tax collected in Tobago.
Yeah. You know, I want to be a bit facetious. Right?
Dwayne, see when you use that word, go ahead.
I tuned in on the budget, well, the statement of the finance secretary last week. And one of the most notable things, in addition to all the other fiscal issues Tobago is challenged with, might I dare say perturbed with, right? One of them was the burial issue, and how I can't remember the name of the organization, but essentially Trinidad and Tobago is a party to that organization where they could get insurance money. There's a policy separate for Trinidad and one for Tobago. Tobago would have received, I think, was 25. It was 25 by 200 and something. No, I can't remember. But some money.
supposed to receive.
They were supposed to receive some monies, right? And they didn't receive the monies to offset the expenses incurred by burial. The finance secretary would have, in her goodwill, went to the finance minister and saying, well, you know, we know that there is this insurance payout to be in favor of Tobago, where how can we access it? And I don't want to repeat the comment. I would encourage persons to go and watch the debate last Thursday in the House to see what the finance minister. But essentially, this is one other payment, one other set of monies that Tobago was deprived of, and we still are grappling with, according to the THA, the current administration, with expenses from the oil spill, which are expenses that we didn't budget for.
And Mrs. Roberts also, she was asking why it is that part of it wasn't presented by the finance minister. If it is that it is a recurrent expense from the oil spill, why wasn't that presented?
Yeah.
But Dwayne, I have a question as it pertains to that said same oil spill. So we saw the movement of the vessel off of Flying Reef, and it is now in sea lots. They want to sell this said vessel. Where is the income from this vessel going?
Correct.
I mean, because it did damage to our reef in Tobago and our coast. And I would also additionally like to ask and remind Tobagonians, this said marina, wasn't that area not affected by the said oil spill? I mean, I'm asking, I'm not too sure. You know, somebody could probably educate me on such matters, because I don't know it all.
Ajay is opening Tobago updates to these questions.
No, but I am now thinking, isn't this not the said same area affected by the oil spill? Isn't that the same area that we know Flying Reef is located here? So is it that we are now saying to our yachties, come on the rough side of the island, park up your boat in an area where we have a reef? I mean, I have heard guys who usually participate in the Great Reef, and they will tell you that's rough waters out there. It's one of the most dangerous parts to navigate as a marina. So why are we not putting a marina on the rough side of the island? I mean, that's very intelligent coming from a geologist.
All right. So we are pressed for time. So Dwayne, is there anything else you would like to add?
You know, I just want to close by saying this, right? We really need to. It's 2024, right? It is important that we consider the developmental trajectory for Tobago. We cannot develop Tobago with what we currently are getting from Trinidad, like it or not, right? And Tobago does contribute, besides the monetary wise. I would always say Tobago is not, Trinidad and Tobago is not Trinidad and Tobago without Tobago.
Say it again, please,
right?
Because people who are bigger, say it again.
Wow.
Trinidad and Tobago is not Trinidad and Tobago without Tobago, right? I could tell you a lot of things giving evidence to that. However, right, we need to consider the developmental trajectory for Tobago, and I'm saying if we care about Tobago, we ought not to, and if we are proactive about giving Tobago autonomy, we cannot. Your argument cannot be. My only option cannot be that you're going to wait until a bill is passed to give us more money, right? when we already have a mechanism to do so through the DRC Commission. I want to end by saying that.
Okay. All right. And to Alex and Ajay, I have one question for you all. What is it that you all would have loved to see in the budget? As it pertains to Tobago, of course.
Well, for me, one, the transportation sector, and I noticed the meager amount that the Ministry of Transport got. But we have a transportation problem on the island, right?
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, they send the white shirts, the oppressors. The oppressors. Because we don't have the luxury of red band, yellow band, and these kind of things,
Yes,
right?
yes. Only one blue band.
Correct.
Maxis,
And
yes.
then blue band, no, they do schools and so forth on morning and evening.
Right.
Let's be realistic.
Yes.
PH rules in Tobago. Then you're sending white shirts to oppressors. And you're not even giving us proper PTSC buses. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You're not even doing that. When last they bought PTSC buses? I don't know. I know that they fix up some of them for the Cricket World Cup and the CPL.
Let's not mention when they go down, traffic, the transport system just goes off all entirely.
So I know the Minister of Works and Transport was boasting that he will fix Tobago with the oil spill. Fix Tobago with the transport issues, please.
All right. All right.
I mean, it's hard to close following these two guys, but I would tell Tobagonians, the devil is in the details. Let's pay critical attention going forward. As it's stated, it's a draft estimate. So let's pay close attention to the Standing Finance Committee.
Correct.
Let's hear what the actual amount spent was. Let's hear why certain things didn't work out. And let's pay close attention to that going forward. Tobagonians, pay attention to the details again.
Correct. And just to add with the Standing Finance Committee, that is where you see the ministers tell the truth. Yeah?
Okay.
The debate is just a debate. That is where you see them tell the truth.
And hopefully, the opposition will be prudent and ask critical questions
hope so, yeah?
and not play politics during this process, because Tobago is watching you, opposition.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I think all of us would agree that we all want to see a better Tobago. We want to see that we are prioritized as the tourism-based island, because they are saying that for themselves, right? So we want to see, that increase in our importance to our
in the head, not physically.
Okay. Well, I'm saying it out loud, so let me put it out there that we would like to see a better Tobago in terms of you all prioritizing Tobago and making us, I want to put in that word, being equal, in our talks about our country, right? So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. You all had some very strong points. I know that the fire was put out very early, but there is always time to talk about it in the future, right? So, Mr. Ajay Allen, Mr. Alex Job Thomas, and Mr. Dwayne Nurse.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us, viewers. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen, on Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. It's always a pleasure to have you all. All right. And as we continue on this morning, we have Good Morning Tobago, or GMT, coming up this morning. We'll be joined by Miss Natasha Ann Second. So we look forward to that. And in light of that, because I have three gentlemen here and we have to say share the live 3 times, they each would say share the live. So I'll hand it over to you. What must we do, starting with Dwayne?
Share the live.
Share the live.
Share the live.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned for GMT.